Hi, everybody. Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to go talk about something that I was reminded of by the fact that it's just a little bit after April Fools. So one of the old school Unix jokes, right, pranks that people would do when you leave your workstation on lock, is they would edit your etc hosts file. So for anybody who is unaware, the way that DNS works in a Unix system, well, in general, but a Unix system specifically, is that there is an order of lookups to things, right? So the idea is, let me go share this out, that when you go look up a host name, right, your computer does not go directly to a DNS server, right? And I think that's how most people think that it actually works. What your computer actually does is it looks at a file called the nsswitch.conf, and the nsswitch.conf tells it the order of where to go look host names and a bunch of other stuff up. And one of the places that it can go look it up is the hosts file. And by default, the order is to look up DNS entries, look at host names, look them up in the local hosts file before we check DNS. In fact, there was a point way back in the day. Where the internet was small enough that people only used the hosts file. Like people just download a new version of the hosts file, and that was literally a list of the hosts on the internet. Not super scalable. So DNS was something that people came up with and started to use. But that's the basic idea. So I wanted to talk about that and talk about using that as a way to sort of enhance productivity. So if I pull up my VirtualBox instance over here, and this is FreeBSD, but it doesn't matter, right? This could be equally, pick your flavor of Linux. So I'm going to go jump on here, and I'm going to go take a look at etc nsswitch.conf. And you can go see here that if I go down to hosts, it has files, DNS, and then mDNS. That's the order of lookups. We could do something like put in LDAP. If I had an LDAP configuration, and we could go ahead and look that up there. This is a pretty common thing, especially for user account information. So we could go ahead and put that in, password, for example. So here we see NIS. We might want to go ahead and put, LDAP instead and do a sort of more modern version of this. So anyway, the thing that's kind of nice about having a local hosts file is if you're somebody like myself who can get in these sort of addictive cycles with websites, that can be a little bit problematic, especially if you're trying to get stuff done at work. You can feel like you get sucked back into Facebook and you check something and then people are talking and then you go check it, 20 minutes later. I think we've probably all had that experience where you have a website open and then you go to the browser and go to the browser URL bar, and then you type in the URL for that same website that you're already on. And it's like, oh, that's okay. This isn't good. I need to take a break. So this is especially true with modern websites where they specifically engineer the websites to make them as addictive as possible to keep your eyeballs on the site so they can go sell you more and more ads, right? So one of the things that you can go do is you can make it a little bit more difficult to go to the website. So originally, the practical joke was, if we go ahead and take a look at the etc hosts file, let me go to CNN.com. Right, and CNN.com was a common one that people would do because, a lot of people read CNN. It's a popular website. So you go to CNN.com, you can see that this is easily loadable. And what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and VI the etc hosts file. And what you can do is you can go in and look at this. And you can see here that I've got 127.0.0.2 commented out, but you can see that there's already an entry here for CNN.com and so forth. So what I can do is I can actually go comment this out, and then I can go ahead and save that. And now if I go back and I try to go reload this, it will not work because it's trying to go back to my local host and connect there. If I wanted to, one thing that you might actually go do to sort of go above and beyond this is to install a web server locally on your machine, and then just have like a list of your goals that you're trying to accomplish. So that way, when you go to somewhere like CNN.com, when you're slacking off, it reminds you of the reasons that you want to accomplish blah, right? Whatever it is. All right, so that's a cool thing. The more sort of traditional practical joke is that you would find some other website. So you go ahead and do like a lookup on yahoo.com. And what you do is you'd grab one of the IP addresses and you'd basically do the exact same thing. But you'd go ahead and put this down here. So instead of having this go to CNN or 127.0.0.2, you would have this go to whatever IP address that was. So in this case, 98.137.246.7. And then you go ahead and save that. And then what you do is you go ahead and reload CNN.com. And it's HTTPS, so the joke doesn't work as well as it used to. But I'm going to go ahead and say advanced, add exception, confirm security exception, and it's not liking that. So, so what happens a lot, especially back in the day when websites were simpler, it would just load up the website. So if you went to, let me try this again. All right, that doesn't seem to be working. I'm wondering if maybe they use the same content delivery network. But it's a nice thing to go ahead and do, where you can go ahead and do this for the different types of hosts that you find distracting. So I personally don't spend a huge amount of time on actually CNN.com, but what I might do is I might do 127.0.0.2 www.facebook.com. And then 127.0.0.3 popRals.com. And the idea here is that once I have that saved, I can go to Facebook, but it acts as just like a little bit of a sanity check for me. That's weird. I should have. Okay, I must have had it cached. Yeah, so I can go to Facebook, but it's going to try to go ahead and resolve against localhost, and it's going to prevent that. And that's fine, but I can then go back and edit this file. I can, via my etc hosts, I can then go down here to Facebook. I can go ahead and comment that out. And then I can go back and go to Facebook when I really want to go to Facebook. And at that point, it's going to show that, the website as it's expected. What you could do on top of that is put together like a really little script that, through maybe cron every, hour or something like that, adds those lines to your host file in order to go ahead and automate, blocking them. So you can very, very easily go ahead and unblock them. But it gives you the ability to restrict that. And I should point out that this is not something that is exclusive to Linux either. This is on my Windows machine, which I use as a desktop. I'm not going to get into that whole argument again. It's a work thing. I don't mind Windows. It's fine. But if you go to your C drive, Windows, System32, drivers, etc., there in fact is a host file there as well. So you could go ahead and edit this and do the exact same thing, and put entries in there, and that could work quite nicely. So that is a little bit of a tip in case you want to go ahead and try to increase your productivity by removing distractions at work. or at home, right? It's fine there too. And I think it's a sort of a nice little thing to go ahead and just sort of make yourself stay on task a little bit more, or at least sort of get you to notice. Because that's another thing is sometimes people don't realize how frequently they're going to visit these websites. Having sort of a sort of intermediary step that requires you to take a second and then unblock things can actually be kind of helpful for that. So anyway, have a great rest of your week. I'll be posting another video on Wednesday as I typically do. So hopefully I'll see you there. If you're not already subscribed and you're interested in checking that out, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Feel free to give the video a like. If you did, in fact, like it, it would be very weird if you gave it a like and you didn't. So don't do that. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.